On the Night Side with Barb DiGiulio, NEWSTALK 1010.
Welcome back to the Night Side. Great to have you along. We've been talking off and on throughout the evening about being isolated at home and being stuck together. And for some people, it's a dream. And for some people, maybe it's a little bit more of a nightmare. Relationships probably go either way after an event like this. If you're close and you get closer. But for some people, it goes the opposite way. However, is now the time to be thinking about something major and life-changing like splitting up. Joining us to talk about this is Toronto family lawyer Nandishi Bekah. Welcome to the show, Nandishi. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, Barb. Thank you so much for having me.
Are you working from home? How are you meeting with your clients?
I am working from home right now. I'm doing a lot of meetings virtually via Zoom.
Mm-hmm. How's that working out?
It's an adjustment. It's definitely different than having to meet your clients face to face, which is, it's a lot easier. It's what we're used to. But Zoom is working out quite fine.
So we go through times during the year where divorce rates tend to be higher. I'm thinking especially after the holidays and all the family stuff. And sometimes people set a certain time. Well, once we get through this, I'm finally going to go ahead and do it. This has to be a completely different animal when it comes to the effect of being at home in isolation. And maybe you're with someone that you're already having difficulties. What kinds of things are you hearing from clients?
Absolutely. I mean, right now, relationships are falling apart with the increased pressure of being forced to stay indoors. Since the declaration of the pandemic and having to self-isolate and socially distance yourself, couples have had to face harsh realities about their relationships. And what were once minor problems have now become major problems. Proximity is a huge relationship stressor. And so with nothing else going on, being in close proximity to the other person all the time raises these big issues. In the last 2-3 weeks, I've seen a huge spike in the amount of couples who are looking to separate. And really the reality is being around someone 24/7 without having your day-to-day escapes, be it work, seeing friends, or just going to the gym, has become a huge catalyst for a relationship breakdown.
I mean, I think it depends on the relationship. I think having that sort of 24/7 closeness can certainly be a test for a relationship. But would you say that now, in the middle of this stay at home and quarantine and pandemic, is now not the best time to try to initiate something like this, unless, of course, you're in an unsafe situation?
That's exactly right. This isn't the best time to be making any life-changing decisions. Emotions are running high. It's easy to become overwhelmed with anxiety or irritability and restlessness. So deciding to separate during this time is unwise because there aren't very many alternatives that are available to you right now. Having to self-isolate and socially distance yourself, you can't just pick up and leave. Because,
Right.
Well, where would you go? Going to stay at a friend's house, not only puts you at risk, it could put your children at risk, and it puts those friends at risk as well. So you want to try and avoid having to go anywhere unnecessarily. And like you said, unless you're in a situation that is dangerous to yourself or to your children, where you have no other choice but to leave, then my suggestion would just be to stay where you are because your home is the safest place for you right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, aside from going to friends' homes, people who are in situations like this and one person leaves might end up going to a hotel. And a lot of hotels are helping out frontline workers, and that may not be the safest place for you if you don't need to be there. What should people do, though, if they are feeling like, I can't take another day of this?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. If you're really feeling like you can't take another day of this, then, you can consult your lawyer virtually. Talk to your lawyer and talk to them about implementing a plan for your upcoming separation that you can kind of put into effect while you're still living at home with that person to help minimize your relationship problems. And secondly, there's different things that you can do while still in the house to help bring you peace of mind. The first thing is to really just take breaks. If you're, fortunate enough to live somewhere where you have multiple rooms, then take some time for yourself. not only does this bring you some space and some peace of mind, but it gives you time to regain perspective. Or go for a walk, get some time outdoors. If you are healthy and you haven't been exposed to or diagnosed with COVID-19, then feel free to go take a walk, get that sunlight, get that oxygen. That really helps, with your day-to-day stresses. More than anything, find ways to laugh. Laughter is the best medicine, especially in situations where it's so easy to get down and just focus on the negative. Just do that. And if you're really in a situation where you and your partner are just at your wit's end and there's no reconciliation in sight, then just create space within your space, set boundaries, and respect each other enough to respect those boundaries until the situation with the COVID-19 pandemic improves.
Is it probably a good idea not to say, we're getting a divorce at the end of this? Like, don't have that conversation while you're stuck in isolation. Or you tell me.
That really depends on the couple. I mean, couples know when they're having problems, and more often than not, they know whether or not this is going to work out. So if the couple's on the same page and they know, this is going to be the end of it, then sometimes it's helpful to talk about it and to kind of manage expectations and figure out what you're going to do in the meantime. So that can actually be a healthy conversation. If it's only one-sided, or, you feel like the other person's going to react badly, or it's going to be a volatile situation, it might turn into an unsafe situation, then maybe just hold off. Do the other things that I've kind of suggested before so that you can kind of manage your own self while in the situation without putting yourself in any danger.
I think there's probably going to be, I know there have to be some people out there who thought that they were heading for divorce, and this has actually brought them closer together. At least I hope that's the case.
Yeah, it is the case. I mean, this is also a time where you can reconnect with somebody. It gives you ample opportunity to do things together. Go back to the roots of your relationship. Watching a movie together, watching a show together, finding, a new hobby together. Those are all things that bring people closer together and really strengthen a bond. So it could go both ways. It's really up to the couple.
All right. Great advice and information. Where can people find out more about you?
They can visit my website at www.bekah-law.ca.
And that's bekah-law.ca.
That's correct, yeah.
Nandishi Bekah, thanks so much for this.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too. All right. More to come. Richard Krause is next. You're listening to The Night Side.